All right, Jim. Well, let's keep things smooth here on the air. And we have a series of questions that several people have sent in about a recent interview that the artist formerly known as Lana, C.J. Perry, did on Chris Jericho's little show.
Has she finally spilled some tea?
If this is the spilling of the tea, I'm not sure what to think about said tea. Perhaps it's chamomile tea. Well, let's get some of these questions. Jim, this one sent to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com by Daniel Elder. Just listening to Chris Jericho's show with Lana, she talks a little bit about how when she was in storyline with Dolph Ziggler and a photo of her marriage to Rusev got out, she and Jericho laugh at the idea of how that meant she was punished and kept off TV for 3 months. Jericho particularly thinks it's a joke. What are Jim's thoughts on punishing somebody with no screen time due to something that happened in quote-unquote real life?
Well, what are they laughing about? They're laughing about that she got punished because she's supposed to be married or involved with one person on television and she starts broadcasting her wedding pictures? What kind of an idiot would do that to begin with? Of course she got punished. You're supposed to be with so-and-so on television, but instead you just got married to such and such on your goddamn social media. Keep your private shit private. So I assume, yes, they did. But why were they laughing about it? She didn't learn anything from that?
I guess the idea that the office would have a problem with that, which I have to admit, this is one of the situations where I think the office would have a legitimate reason to be upset if they're doing everything on TV
Yes.
and all of a sudden you just expose that it's all bullshit, even though it is professional wrestling.
Well, but of course, the office also had her drop her Russian accent. If it had been up to me, if she came in as Russian, she was going to be Russian for the rest of her fucking life. Because that just tells you again that this person is a phony. A big fat phony. You're a phony. A big fat phony. If somebody comes in talking like they're Russian and then suddenly is talking like they're from fucking Pittsburgh, that's stupid. If they didn't want her to be Russian anymore, they should have just shipped her off somewhere and then brought her back in a couple years with different color hair and nobody'd remember. But anyway, I mean, how bright can she be? Right? How bright can she be? I saw on somebody tweeted that she wants wherever she works from here on out. What? Go ahead. Am I jumping in?
You're jumping in. Let me go to the next question from James in Vegas. Recently, in an interview, Lana stated she would only go back to wrestling if she had a no-cut clause in her contract, meaning she couldn't be released.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of this being in anyone's contract? Is this realistic? What are Jim's thoughts?
Well, yes, in some cases in the past, there have been specific contracts. You're going to pay me this money. You don't have to use me, but you're going to pay me this money for this period of time. You can't get out of it. But for fucking Lana? I mean, at first I didn't hear it exactly right. When she said the no-cut contract, I didn't hear it right. And I thought, well, how can she have a contract when she's not even a part of it? But then I heard it was no cut. And I see. No, she's delusional. She's not important enough. What promotion is going to say, oh my God, we have to have Lana or the former Lana, and to get this highly valued individual, we're going to sign her to a contract that we can't get rid of her no matter how bad she turns out to be until the end of the contract. No, that's only for major money drawing box office attractions, of which we're not talking about here. I don't. This is another one. And I know she's married to Bluto, and he thinks this way too, because we've established most of his career has been spent in the WWE system. They think that they are actors working for a movie studio in major parts in television or whatever. They aren't in the wrestling business mentally. They don't know what the wrestling business is mentally. And they don't know how that they figure into it because they don't understand the business they're even in. And whether it's, just standing back waiting to be told by the script writers or whatever the case, how in the world does she think she's valuable enough for what other promotion besides her husband's current place of employment would sign her up at all. To do what? And then not be cut? I ask you.
I don't have an answer to that, but one more question about Lana's recent interview. This one sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Billy. Lana was recently interviewed on Jericho's show. Apparently during last year's Survivor Series, Roman Reigns and Nia Jax got into an argument backstage because Jax was supposed to put Lana through a table, a running gag they had been doing for weeks leading up to this event, and Roman Reigns nixed the spot because there was a table spot planned for the main event with him, and he didn't want another table spot. Would love to get your thoughts on this, considering it's in line with your views of ring and crowd psychology related to table spots.
Yes, as a matter of fact, hold on here, wait a minute. Let me find a good one here. To Roman Reigns, because now we know that somebody gets it. And of course, his involvement with Paul Heyman and he coming from a wrestling family, and him being the main event guy and the guy that's supposed to be carrying the company and is going to get shit on by a lot of people internally if he doesn't carry it properly. He takes his shit seriously. And no, he's not going to have the girls out there breaking a fucking table before his main event world championship match where they're going to break a fucking table. And he smoothed that shit out and shut it down real quick. And I'm proud of him for it.
And that, of course, is one of the big problems at AEW, where people do the same thing in multiple segments on the same show.
Yeah, and what was Lana butthurt and offended that they didn't get to break a table too? Because everybody gets to participate and break tables and use ladders and things. She actually thought there was something wrong with that action.
I don't know, because I didn't.
We were the girls' match, and we couldn't do the fucking table spot because the main event world championship match was going to use it.
To be fair, we don't know if she was saying she had a problem with it. She was just, from what we read here, saying that it happened.
Well, and why was Nia Jax arguing? Just because she's in the family, she thinks she can argue with Roman Reigns, the world champion, on a bone of contention about what's going to be happening in the matches?
For someone who doesn't generate, someone who isn't a money draw, for someone who's not going to ever be a main eventer, for someone who doesn't matter on the show, Nia Jax seems to really be very opinionated from everything I've read and heard.
My hole!
Well, Jim, I lied. One last question on Lana. This one just came in. This one sent to CornyDriveThru.
Breaking question.
CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Joel in New Zealand. What are your thoughts on Lana recently being on Jericho's show, calling herself just an actress playing a part in WWE?
There you go. Was I psychic? That's what she thinks she is. She thinks she's an actress playing a part on a television show. And that's what Bluto thinks he is. Really, an actress. My employer gave me a role to play. Remember that line? That's what these fucking jackoffs, male and female alike, think they are these days in the wrestling business. Actors playing parts. And that's why they all fucking suck. And the only ones that don't suck are the ones that realize they're not actors playing parts, like the Briscoes. And I make these comments and state this case and proffer this theory, and then out of their own chicken lips, they go out and they admit it. Yeah, I'm an actress playing a part. Well, you're not doing it very well, because this is not a place for actresses or actors playing parts, chickadee. Run on back home and cook Bluto some goulash.